morning to all of you. Now, in the last lecture, we have studied the design of one-way continuous slab. Now, today we will study the two-way slab design and one problem on one-way slab. One more problem on one-way slab. Okay, so please be clear with the things. One-way slab design is different. One-way continuous slab design is different. Okay, in last lecture, what we have seen in one-way continuous slab, we designed the end panel. There are five panels, I think, in that problem. I will open the slides, so you will get clear with it. So, if you see in the last lecture, what we have done in the problem, this was the problem. Okay, so here now, see here, this is the end panel. This is the end panel. I have already told you this is the end panel, and this is also end panel, and whatever the in between panels are there, these three panels. So this is first, second, and third. These are the intermediate panels. These are intermediate panels, and we have designed this for end panel. Whatever we have given the design in this numerical, so this design is we had done for end panel. This design should be provided over here in this place and here. Okay, so here that is first and second. Whatever I have written in the red ink, one number and two number, here this design should be provided. Okay, because for the end panel, what is the difference? For end panel, L by D ratio, we take this ratio as 23. That is what we do. We take D is equal to span. We take D is equal to span divided by 23 into modification factor. 23 into modification factor. Look this. This is most important point. For end span, here we have design end span. As in the problem, it is not specified that design the end span, design the intermediate span. They have not given in the problem. Okay, so we have design end span. Now, if in the exam they ask you for the intermediate span, then what to do and what is the difference? Okay, so see here, if in the exam, now we have already seen the design of this end span, whatever I have written by the red link, what is the problem. But if you want to design this intermediate span, these are the intermediate spans. Okay, these spans are intermediate spans. So if you want to design this, then for the intermediate span, L by D ratio is taken as 26. So here instead of 23, you should replace the term by 26. That is the only change. Rest of the steps will remain same. There is no difference in other steps. Okay, that is the only change here only. Here D is equal to what we have written, end span divided by 23 into, this is our modification factor for this case, okay, for this end panels. So now here what will be the change? D is equal to your intermediate span, whatever the span of the intermediate panel, that span divided by 26 into modification factor. Okay, so here if I write, then it will be D is equal to, here your span, whatever may be the span, divided by 26 into modification factor. This is the only difference. Remember this thing, this is most important. In the exam, if they don't specify you for which span you need to design, then you can design for end panel, or you can design for intermediate panel. But in the exam, if they specifically ask you the design the end panel of the following one way continuous slab, then you should design end panel. If they told you in the exam design the intermediate panel of the following one way slab of these and these details, then you should design the intermediate panel. For intermediate panel, remember this, you should take 26, and for end panel end span you should take 23. Okay, from where this 23 comes, that also I told you, 20 plus 26 by 2. way which is given in the IS code. So this is the important thing which you must understand. Now I hope you will be clear with this now. So now we will move to the design of two-way slab. Okay, so this we have already seen in the last lecture. Two-way slab design. Now how to design the two-way slab. Okay, so design of two-way slab we are going to learn over here. So what is given? Problem is given to you. Okay. So what is the problem? Design a slab over a room 4 meter by 6 meter as per IS code. The slab is simply supported and the corners are held down. The live load on the slab is 3000 Newton per meter square and slab has a bearing of 150 mm on the supporting walls. Use M20 and Fe415. So these many things are given over here. Okay. So see, design a slab over a room 4 meter by 6 meter. So you know the panel size of the slab. Okay, it's a 4 meter by 6 meter is the panel size. Always take the span in X direction as your shorter span, span in Y direction as your longer span. Okay, so this is your shorter span 4 meter and 6 meter is your longer span. As per the IS code, then slab is simply supported. Okay, and the corners are held down. So corners are held down means what? The slab is having four corners. At the four corners, special reinforcement needs to be provided. That is the meaning of corners are held down, or the special reinforcement is provided. So that is called as corners are held down. That reinforcement is called as a torsional reinforcement, which is provided at the corners of the slab. Okay. See, the meaning of this is the corners are held down. The meaning of this is at the corners a special reinforcement is provided for the torsion. Okay, you remember this. We will see how to provide that, what is to do that in the design steps we will see. But just for your understanding I am telling you these things. So the corners are held down. The live load on the slab is 3000 Newton per meter square. So live load is given 3000 Newton per meter square. The slab has a bearing of 150 mm. Bearing means width of the support is given to you. Okay. Bearing means width of the support is given to you, that is 150 mm. So now we will move to the problem. So I will start the numerical now. See here. First of all, our step number one, we always do this step. What is the step? Length in y direction divided by length in x direction. Span in y direction divided by span in x direction. That we always do. So it is 6 divided by 4 because 4 by 6 the panel size is 4 by 6 which is given to us. So 6 divided by 4 it is 1.5. So this value is now 1.5. So this value is less than 2. Okay, this value is less than 2. If the value is equal to 2 or more than 2, then it is one way slab. If the value is less than 2, then you need to design here which type of slab? Two-way slab. You need to design here two-way slab. Okay, so this is from annexure D1.1 page number 90. This is given in here on page number 90 annexure D 1.11 that we have already seen. So here so span to effective depth ratio we should take while designing the two-way slab, and that span to effective depth ratio is given on page number 36 clause number 23.2.1. So our next step is calculate the depth. This is our second step to calculate the depth, but the important note is written over here. See this note. What the note says: if the two-way slab having a shorter span Lx is greater than 3.5 meter then the effective depth is calculated similar to that of one-way slab. That is what is mentioned over here. Okay. In the case of two-way slab, if your shorter span means what? This is 4 is your shorter span. This is your shorter span Lx is greater than 3.5 meter. माझी कंपेअर करून बघा आहे का 3.5 पेक्षा greater than 3.5 meter, then the effective depth is calculated similar to that of one way slab. Then you need to calculate the effective depth. Okay, so then the effective depth is calculated similar to that of one way slab. So one way slab सारखी effective depth calculate करावं लागेल असं तिथे सांगितलेलं आहे. So now we will go to page number 36 and this clause number 23.2.1 A and C. Okay, so I will we will go there in the IS code. So here the IS code, page number 36. So we will go to page number 36, 35, 36. So in the page number 36, this clause is given. What was the clause number? 23.2 point something, I think so. Again, it is given on page number 37. Okay. So here the vertical deflection limits may be generally assumed to be satisfied provided that the span to depth ratio are not greater than the values obtained as below. The basic values of span to effective depth ratio for the spans up to 10 meter, cantilever 7, simply supported 20 and continuous 26. Okay. For the spans above 10 meter, the value in A may be multiplied by span divided by 10, but in our case our value is not above 10. Okay. In our case, see here what they have told, for the spans above 10 meter they have told. So we are not coming under this category. Our span is less than 10 meter. So what they have written here, depending upon the area of steel, area and the stress of the steel of the tension reinforcement, the value in A or B shall be modified by using modification factor. Okay, it shall be modified by using modification factor. So now here we will come to, just a minute, mouse is not working. So here now, after seeing this clause, we will move to our slide now, and there we will see how it is applied. Okay, so coming back to the slide, are you able to see the slides? Are you able to see this? Okay, so now here, so in this case now Lx is 4 meter in our case, which is greater than 3.5 meter. So your formula for D is equal to Lx divided by 20 into modification factor. So it will be 4000, that is it is given as 4 meter. So 4 meter is nothing but 4 meter is nothing but it is 4000 mm. This is 4000 divided by 20 into 1.4. 1.4 is the modification. Again we know that it is calculated from this value comes from where? This value comes from figure number 4. This value comes from figure number 4, 1.4. How does it come? We assume the percentage of steel. Here I have already told you, for slab we generally assume the 0.3% of the steel. Okay, from page number 38, modification factor is calculated as 1.4. That value is used over here. So your effective depth D is equal to, what is the value? Ultimately the value is 142.85 mm. So this is your effective depth. So based on this effective depth, now calculate overall depth. Okay. So here instead of 10 mm, I have assumed 8 mm diameter bars. Okay, in the previous problems we have assumed 10 bar diameter, but I have assumed here 8 bar diameter. It doesn't make any difference. So assume 8 bars with a clear cover of 15 So we have assumed a cover of 15 We have assumed 15 cover. So overall depth D is equal to, it is 142.85 plus 15 plus 8 by 2, that is 161.85. I hope you clear with this overall depth how it is calculated. Or shall I explain you once again how why we are adding these things over here? Hmm? Will tell you still. I will tell you. So if I draw here a cross section, suppose not cross section, I will tell you what is the concept. So now suppose the here the bars are provided. Sorry. So I think we are on the this slide. Okay. So now again I will try to draw. So here this is the cross section, and now if I draw the bars, it will be like this. I will draw only two bars here, okay, or maybe third bar is over here. Okay. So now what is the overall depth? Now if I want to see the overall depth from this point, okay, so from this point to this point, whatever may be the distance, that is your overall depth D. Okay, whatever may be the distance, that is your overall depth, and this is your width B. And what is your what we can say effective depth? Then if I draw for the line from the center of these bars, okay, if I draw the line, then whatever the distance is, this distance is my small d. Okay. This is small d. Yes. And cover is the distance. So here from the bottom of the bar, okay, from the bottom of the bar to the bottom of the member, whatever may be the distance, this is called as clear cover. This is called as clear cover. Okay. And the from if you take the distance from the bottom of the bar to the bottom of the member, then it is clear cover. If you take the distance from the center of the bar, that is from here to this point bottom, okay, this is called as effective cover. Then this is called as effective cover. Okay. Now you will understand this. If I know what is the effective depth, and if I want to calculate the overall depth D, then what should I do? In this small d, I need to add this much of distance. Okay. So to add this much of distance, तुम्हाला काय करावं लागेल त्याच्यामध्ये इथं क्लिअर कव्हर. हे क्लिअर कव्हर किती अज्युम केलेलं आहे आपण 15. वी ऑलवेज अज्युम दिस क्लिअर कव्हर ॲज 15. बार डायमीटरचा काय करावं लागेल? क्लिअर कव्हर अज्युम केलं म्हणजे इथनं डिस्टन्स तुम्ही मोजलं. मग हे हाफ ऑफ बार डायमीटर राहिला का नाही अजून इथं? इफ दिस बार डायमीटर इज 10 then half of bar diameter is 5. If this bar diameter is 8 then half of bar diameter is 4 Okay, so that is why here capital D is equal to, this is your small d, then this 15 is nothing but your clear cover. I will write here CC clear cover, and this is half of bar diameter, and this is half of bar diameter. So your overall depth will be it is works out to be 161.85 So we round this depth to 165 We have increased the depth. We can't provide in points depth, so we have increased it to 165 So your capital D, we have took the value as 165 But now here, as our depth was 161.85 our effective depth at the same time is 142. म्हणजे ओव्हरऑल डेप्थ 161 असताना, ओव्हरऑल डेप्थ तुमची 161.85 असताना तुमची इफेक्टिव्ह डेप्थ किती होती? 142.85. पण आता तुम्ही काय केलंय? व्हॉट यू हॅव डन, यू हॅव इन्क्रीज दिस व्हॅल्यू. you have increased this 161.85 to 165. जर तुम्ही ओव्हरऑल डेप्थ वाढवली तर तुमची इफेक्टिव्ह डेप्थ पण काय होणार आहे, इन्क्रीज होणार आहे ना. हा जर सेक्शन तुम्ही वाढवला तर तुमची इफेक्टिव्ह डेप्थ पण इन्क्रीज होईल. सो दॅट वी नीड टू कॅल्क्युलेट द इफेक्टिव्ह डेप्थ. सो टू कॅल्क्युलेट effective depth, what we needs to do, so here we have again calculated the depth. Now this is our two-way slab. So in the case of two-way slab, we calculate the effective depth in both the directions, in shorter direction and in longer direction. म्हणजे जिकडे शॉर्टर स्पॅन आहे, आता हा तुमचा 4 मीटर आहे, हा तुमचा शॉर्टर स्पॅन झाला, आणि हा जो पूर्ण आहे इकडे मागे गेलेला, ओके, दॅट विल बी युअर 6 मीटर. असे जे मागं जाईल तुमचं इकडं काय जे असेल ते असं जाईल पाठीमागं, दॅट इज युअर 6 मीटर. सो वी नीड टू कॅल्क्युलेट व्हॉट इज द डेप्थ इन शॉर्टर डायरेक्शन अँड व्हॉट इज द डेप्थ इन longer direction. So this is the D for shorter direction, this D is for longer direction. So for shorter direction it is 165, that is your overall depth, minus this clear cover, minus half of bar diameter, 8. Okay, so this is your depth in shorter. Always remember this, you lay down the main steel in shorter direction. ओके, आणि शॉर्टर डायरेक्शनचं स्टील हे नेहमी बॉटमला असते. पहिल्यांदा तुम्ही कुठलं स्टील टाकता नेहमी स्लॅब मध्ये, शॉर्टर डायरेक्शन. यू ऑलवेज प्लेस द स्टील इन द शॉर्टर डायरेक्शन फर्स्ट, अँड अबव दॅट स्टील यू प्लेस द स्टील इन लॉंगर डायरेक्शन. ओके, so shorter direction depth we have calculated, it works out to be 1646 mm. Now after this, the depth in longer direction, it is 165 minus 15 minus this bar diameter minus half of bar diameter, that is 138 mm. So I will tell you how these values comes, 168 and 138, with the help of diagram. So I will draw here one diagram. Okay, so now this is our cross section now, and these are the bars. Okay, these are the bars. So now I will draw the axis. Suppose okay, so I will draw, this is the line, that is the axis which is passing through the center of the bar. Okay, so here what is happening now, this, in the case of this 146, now if you see here how this 146 comes, so this is our overall depth. So whatever this value, this is our overall depth. I think this color is not visible, I will change the color. So here this depth is our capital D. Okay, this is capital D, and what is this value, this capital D is 165. Okay, this value is 165. Now what is our bar diameter, our bar diameter, this total bar diameter from here bar diameter from this point to this point, this is the bar diameter, and this value is this is what is our bar diameter, it is 10 mm, no sorry 8 mm, our bar diameter is 8 mm. So this total, if this total is 8, then from this center this value, this must be 4. Okay, from center this must be 4. If this total is 8, हा पण 4 असणार आहे, इथं खाली पण 4 असणार आहे, सेम वे इथं. Okay, so if this is 4, then we have assumed our clear cover. So here from this point our clear cover starts at this bottom, and this clear cover is 50. And what is our what we can say, small d. So here the distance from here to this point and this point to this point, this is our small d. Okay, so this distance is small d. Now we want to calculate this small d. So what we have done, from this total distance 165. So from this total distance 165, first we subtract this 15. Okay, first what we have done, we have subtracted this value 15 first, so we will come to this point, then we need to minus this also. So this is again half. Okay, so 4. So total तुम्हाला 19 मायनस करावं लागणार, बरोबर आहे. हे 15 and plus it is 8 by 2. So if you do this, you will get this value, and this value works out to be 146. Okay, now after that, for the next, for this value now 138, how does it come? So as I have told you earlier, you first lay down the bar in shorter direction, and after that you lay down the bar in longer direction. So if you look this from longer direction, again I will draw the shape over here. This is, then circle, okay. So now if I draw the axis, so this is the axis again. So these are the bars which are placed in the, so instead of this I will tell you now what I have told you already. We have laid down the bars in the x direction, shorter direction. Shorter direction चा जो तुमचा बार असणार आहे, तो शॉर्टर डायरेक्शन चा बार तुमचा ऑलरेडी इथं येणार आहे. ओके, तर तुमचा शॉर्टर डायरेक्शन चा बार ऑलरेडी इथं येईल. You will see the bar in the shorter direction, and longer direction चे जे तुमचे बार असणार आहे, that bar will be above this shorter direction bars. म्हणजे हा हे जे बार असणार ते इथं येणार. So हे जे बार असणार आहेत तुमचे ते इथं येईल. Here I will draw the circle. These are the bars. If you see from longer direction, असे येतील वर. These are the bars. Okay. मग आता कॅल्क्युलेशन कसं होईल बघा. How to calculate now? If you see over here, this total depth is 165. This total depth is 165. So line is not straight line. But you understand. And here the clear cover from this point to this point, your clear cover is how much? It is 50. Okay, so this is your bar in x direction. So this is your bar in x direction. What will be the diameter of this bar? The diameter of this bar is 8 mm. Diameter of this bar is 8 mm. And again, if you see the center, this is the center line. Okay, so if this total diameter is 8 mm, this must be 4. This must be 4. And now we want to calculate the effective depth. Effective depth in y direction. So effective depth in longer direction. So these are the bars in longer direction. This is the bar in shorter direction. So your effective depth D will be, your effective depth D is equal to, how to calculate that? So this is the distance. This distance is nothing but your effective depth D. Okay, this is your effective depth D. So now I want to calculate this D. So what should I do? I will take 165 first, that is this here 165. Then from that 165 I minus this 15. This 15 is clear cover, so this is the value 15. From 15 again now I have to minus this bar, because this bar is from shorter direction. Okay, this is from not from the longer direction. So if I minus this bar, the diameter of this bar is 8 mm. So this is 8 mm again. And after that, from this point to this point, whatever distance, I need to minus this distance. So this distance is what? It is 4 mm. 4 mm is half of bar diameter, 8 by 2. So this 8 by 2 is there. So if you do all this calculation, you will get this value as 138 mm. So this is your depth in longer direction. Okay, so if I tell you in Marathi, काय नेमकं की तुम्ही आधी काय करणार आहात, तुम्ही आधी शॉर्टर डायरेक्शनचे बार टाकणार आहात आणि त्याच्यावरती लॉंगर डायरेक्शनचे बार येणार आहेत. मग ज्या वेळेला तुम्ही इफेक्टिव्ह डेप्थ कॅल्क्युलेट करत आहात तर ऑलरेडी तुम्ही शॉर्टर डायरेक्शनची इफेक्टिव्ह डेप्थ कॅल्क्युलेट केलेली आहे, ती आहे 146 आणि शॉर्टर डायरेक्शनला बार डायमीटर किती आहे 8 mm. मग त्या 8 mm च्या वर लॉंगर डायरेक्शनचे बार पडणार आहेत. म्हणजे लॉंगर डायरेक्शनची इफेक्टिव्ह डेप्थ काढताना काय होईल की हा जो शॉर्टर डायरेक्शनचा एक 8 mm चा बार पडलेला आहे ह्याचा डायमीटर तुम्हाला काय करावं लागणार आहे, मायनस करावं लागणार आहे, कारण तो बार तुम्हाला असं दिसणार आहे. आलं लक्षात? So now after this is the important point, how to calculate the effective depth. This is the depth in shorter direction, this is the effective depth in longer direction. So shorter direction it is 146, for longer direction it is 138. Now after the calculation of the depth, म्हणजे आता आपल्याला डेप्थ मिळाली. What is our overall depth? Our overall depth is 165. Our depth in shorter direction is 146. Depth in the longer direction is 138. These two are the effective depths. So now next step is to calculate the effective span. So to calculate the effective span we need to use the IS code page number 34 clause number 22.2a. So it says that effective span is equal to center to center of support. This is the first condition, or second is clear span plus effective depth. So it is a clear span plus effective depth, whichever is less. They told you whichever is less, that we should take into the. So now we will see what is given. See here. So the effective span is calculated in shorter direction as well as in longer direction. What they have said accordingly it is calculated. What the clause says, center to center of support. So first you calculate the center to center and then clear span plus effective depth. So here center to center, so shorter span. Okay, so shorter span center to center of support म्हणजे किती येणार आहे तुमचं, what will be the value, our what is our width of support. So we know that our width of support किती घेतलेली आपण, width of support, our bearing it is given to us, it is 150 mm. 150 mm म्हणजे किती झालं हे 0.15 मीटर in meter if you calculate that width of support. Center to center म्हणजे काय येणार तुमचं, this is your slab, this is your slab now. Okay, so I will draw properly. So this is the slab, and now how the support is given. Support is given like this. Here the one support is there, here the another support is there. In this way the support is given. Now what is the center to center distance? Now to calculate the center to center distance, this is from this point. If I draw the center line, okay, if I draw the center line of this, so if this is the support, this will be the center line. Okay, so this is the center line. So center to center distance, so the center to center distance means this is C to C, center to center distance. This distance is the center to center distance. Okay, whatever may be the distance is there, this is. So now how to calculate this distance, what will be the distance. See, our what is the span they have given to you, what is the value of our Lx, it is 4.5. okay, so Lx is 4.5. so if I write over the value here about Lx, so this value from this point here, from this point it is 4.5 meter up to this point, this is 4.5. and what is the width of support, the width of support they have given us, this total width we have as you given in the problem, this total width is 0.15. this total width is from this point to this point, width is 0.15. so if I want to calculate the center to center, I should add this much of length over here and this much of length over here. So this length is nothing but this is 0.15 by 2. So on this side it is 0.15 by 2 this length, On this side also it is 0.15 by 2. Okay, so now what will be my center to center distance? So the center to center distance will be, what is the distance? It is 4.5 clear span plus this side 0.15 by 2, this side 0.15 by 2 plus on the another side it is again 0.15 by 2. So if you do this calculation you will get the effective span. Okay, this is one condition, that is what is done over here. If you see, that is what is done over here. It is 4.5 plus 0.15, it is 4.65. okay, so it is 4.65, so this works out to be 4.65 meter. Secondly, what the second clause says, it says that clear span plus effective depth. Okay, it says that clear span plus effective depth. What is our clear span? This is known as clear span from this out to out of the support, this is sorry in to in of the support, this is called as clear span. So what is your clear span? Clear span is 4.5 plus, clear span is 4.5 plus what is your effective depth? So this is your effective depth. Now we are doing for shorter span, that is Lx. So what is our effective depth in x direction? It is 146 mm if you remember. So it will be 0.146. So if you do the calculation it will again works out to be 4.64 meter. Okay, so lesser of these two, so this value is taken, so this value is lesser, sorry correct, this value is lesser for shorter span. Okay, now same thing we will do for longer span. So again now you will understand very easily for the longer span. So for longer span, our span is 6 meter, then width of support is will not going to change, it is remains same, 0.15. So instead of this 4.5 here, so instead of this 4.5 here, now it is 6 for longer direction, it is 6. So 6 plus 0.15 by 2, 0.15 by 2, that is 0.15, it is 6.15. First thing. Second thing is clear center to center clear span plus effective depth. Now effective depth in the y direction, it is 0.138, this is the effective depth in y direction. So Ly is equal to what? It is 6 plus this effective depth, you will get the value as 6.14. so lesser of these two you should add on. So finally, after doing all these things, okay, what we get? We get this thing, Lx. The span in shorter direction is 4.65 and span in longer direction or effective length, it is, or effective span, it is 6.14 meter. Okay, 6.14 meter. Now we are doing the load calculations first, and then we will see this step whatever given over here, we will see that later on. First go to the load calculation. So here the load calculations are there. So in the similar manner what we have done for the one-way slab, in the same manner you need to calculate the load. So dead load of slab, so dead load of slab again is 0.165, your overall depth is 165, 0.165 into 25 density of concrete, it works out to be 4.125 kilonewton per meter square. As this value, this 25, the unit of 25 is kilonewton per meter cube. Okay, so kilonewton per meter cube into meter, so it works out to be kilonewton per meter square. Then floor finish, floor finish is 1 kilonewton per meter square, this value is not given, so we have assumed this value, floor finish. Then live load, it is 3 kilonewton per meter square, 3000 it is given in the problem, newton per mm square, so it will be 3 kilonewton per meter square. So now assuming 1 meter width of the slab, okay, this we always do, we assume the width of the slab as a 1 meter. Okay, so assuming 1 meter width of the slab, so if I multiply this total load by 1, then I will get the UDL Newton per meter. So now factor load, here the factor load is calculated. So the factor load is equal to, what is the factor load? it is 1.5 into 8.125, so multiply this by 1.5 and again multiply this by 1. Okay, because we have considered the width as a 1 meter. So if you do that, you will get this value in 12.18 kilonewton per meter. This is your factored load. This is your factored ultimate load. Okay, now we know the what is the span, we know what is the load. This is the total load 12.18. We know the effective span. This is the effective span in x direction 4.65. This is the effective span in y direction 6.14. Now we will come to this part. Now we will come to this part. Now in this case of a two-way slab, you need to see the different end conditions. Okay, so for that we will go to this table number 91 in the IS code. So if we move there, if we go to the IS code, page number 91. So IS code page number 91. There is one table which shows the coefficient for bending moment. The way we have considered the coefficients for the moment of one-way continuous slab, on the same way you need to consider it for the two-way slab also. Okay, so now we will go to that page number 90 where the table is given. From that table we are going to take the coefficients which are helpful to us in calculation of bending moment. So we are now close this page number here. On page number 91 it is given. IS code table number 26. Now if you see this table over here, so table number 26, bending moment coefficients for rectangular panel supported on four sides with the provision of torsion at the corners. Okay, so we need to use this table when in our two-way in the problem it is told to us that we will use this table when they told us that the torsion at the corners, the torsion is provided at the corners. That is what is when they told to us, then we have to use this table number 26. Okay, table number 26. Now in the our case, the same case is there. They told us the corners are held down. Okay, so the corners are held down means we need to provide the torsional reinforcement at the corners. So we are going to use this table number 26 to calculate the bending moment coefficients. Okay, so now if you observe carefully, here the different what we can say conditions are given. If you see, different conditions are given over here. Total 9 conditions are there. Total 9 conditions are there. If I clear so for different conditions we need to see what condition is, our condition is there in the problem. So in the problem nothing is specified. Okay, problem nothing is specified, so you are free to assume any condition. So here in this problem we assume that all the edges are discontinuous. Okay, so all the edges are discontinuous. We have assumed that all 4 edges are discontinuous. This 9th condition we have assumed. You can assume any of the condition which is given over here. Okay, and accordingly you go for the finding out the coefficient. So here we have assumed in the problem that all 4 edges are discontinuous. So we are going to leave this table. So to calculate, and all these values whatever you are seeing in the points, these are nothing but these are the coefficients of bending moment. These are the coefficients of bending moment. We need to use these coefficients to calculate the bending moment of the slab. Okay, so now if we go back, before going back I will just tell you what is given over here. So if you see the span coefficients, okay, alpha x, the values of ly by lx, and this is the short span coefficients, and these are the longer span coefficients, and whatever given here, it is this ly by lx, this values for ly by lx. When ly by lx is 1, ly by lx is 1.1 or 1.2, 1.3 up to 2. This is for different values of ly by lx. You can calculate the coefficient alpha x from this value, and the coefficient alpha y in y direction, the coefficient is alpha y from this column. From this column you will get the value of alpha y, and from remaining columns you will get the value of alpha x. I will tell you how to look this table, but just I am telling you what is given over here. Here the coefficient, this coefficient is alpha x. Okay, now we will move to our PowerPoint presentation. So here so now if you see this slide, so for the bending moment calculation, what is written? For the bending moment calculation, what is written over here? Bending moment along shorter span is equal to alpha x w lx square. Bending moment along longer span is equal to alpha y w lx square. So for that, now first we have taken ly by lx ratio. So let that ratio is r. Ly by lx. So ly, what it is, 6.14. This is the value of ly. What is the value of lx? Effective. Now after doing all the things, we have now calculated effective shorter span and effective longer span. So we will take here effective longer span, that is 6.14, divided by effective shorter span, that is 4.65. So the value, it is 1.32. This is the value 1.32. So you remember this value 1.32. So this is 1.32. Okay, so we have to go look to table number page number 91, table number 26, and we must calculate the value of alpha x and alpha y. So for the value of 1.32, we need to calculate the value of alpha x and alpha y. So again we will go to the IS code. Remember this 1.32. We will again go to the IS code and we will see what is given over there. What are the coefficients? So now here we have assumed this last condition. Okay, here we have assumed this last condition. All the four edges are the discontinuous edges. So now what is the value of alpha x and what is the value of alpha y? So in the value in the last column is the value of alpha y. So this is our value of alpha y. This is the value of alpha y. Okay, one value is given only over here. And calculate the value of alpha x, you need to see, to calculate this value of alpha x, what is the value of this ly by lx? The value of this ly by lx is 1.32. So it comes between 1.3 and 1.4. We want to calculate it for 1.32. Okay, so 1.3, this column, that is 1.3 म्हणजे 1 2 3 4, fourth column. Okay, fourth column and fifth column, that we need to look at in front of our condition. Fourth column and fifth column. So if I move down, here, see, it comes over here. So this is fourth column and fifth column, and we need to calculate for 1.32. So that value of coefficient must be between 0.079 and 0.085. Okay, so if Ly by Lx ratio is 1.3, so we need to do the interpolation over here. So for the Ly by Lx ratio 1.3, so for 1.3 what is the value? For 1.3 it is 0.079. Okay, so here 0.079, and for 1.4, for 1.4 what is the value? It is 0.085. So it is 0.085, but we want to calculate the value for 1.32. So we want to calculate the value for 1.32. So if you do the interpolation over here between these two values, you will get the value for 1.32. So that will be your value of alpha x if you do the interpolation. Now if we see for alpha y, what only there is a one column is there for alpha y. Okay, for alpha y only one column is there, this column. We need to look up the values in this column. Okay. So in the last column, if I see for alpha y, there is no other any other value, only a single value is given here for the alpha y. This last column is corresponds to alpha y, and here only a single value is given, and this value is 0.056. So your alpha y value is equal to 0.056. This is the value of alpha y. Okay, so now we will go to our PowerPoint presentation for taking those values. And one more thing I want to tell you over here in the IS code. See, if you observe, this is the formula given for calculating the bending. What is the formula? Mx. Mx stands for movement in shorter direction. My stands for movement in longer direction, or you can say movement in x direction, movement in y direction. What is the formula? Alpha x w lx square for mx, and my alpha y w again lx square. Here ly is not considered. Okay, alpha y w lx square my. So you have to take this formula into the consideration. What is the formula? Mx is equal to alpha x w lx square, and my is equal to again alpha y w ly square. Alpha y w ly square. So these you need to take into the consideration. Sorry, here not y. See, अशा mistake होते बघा here. I am trying to tell you that in the exam you should pay attention over here. Mx is equal to alpha x w lx square. This is shorter span. Okay, this is shorter span, and also my is equal to alpha y w. Again it is lx square. It is here. It is ly square is not written. So it may happens in the exam in hurry we write here ly square and we get all the bending moment calculation as the wrong calculation. So you need to take care of this what is given over here. And now, so if I write the final formula, what is it? Mx is equal to alpha x w l x square, where lx is the shorter span, and my is equal to alpha y w, again it is lx square. It is not here ly square. Okay, so we know our alpha y coefficient. This is our alpha y coefficient. For alpha x coefficient, we need to interpolate between these two values. This is for 1.3, this is for 1.4, and we want the value for 1.32. Okay, because our ly by lx ratio is 1.32 now. So we want the value for 1.32. From this interpolation, we will get the value of alpha, and this condition we have assumed. Okay, there is no condition given in the problem to us, so we have assumed this condition. In the exam they may ask you some conditions. तुम्हाला प्रॉब्लेम मध्ये एक्झाम मध्ये असंही दिलं असू शकते किंवा ते म्हणतील एक्झाम मध्ये instead of 4 ages discontinuous they can tell you 3 ages are discontinuous. Okay, this might happen in the exam. So in that case you have to take the value of alpha x and alpha y from here. Okay, so one long age discontinuous. Okay, where the continuous age is there, you will get two bending moments at that point. One is positive, one is negative. So one is sagging, one is hugging. That is why here the two coefficients are given. One is for positive bending moment, that is sagging bending moment. Another is for negative bending moment. Okay, so similarly now, depending upon the condition, you have to choose these values of alpha x and alpha y. And most importantly, you should go for this table number 26, when the corners are held down. Okay, when they says that the corners are held down, when in the problem it is mentioned that corners are held down, when it is given in the problem. If it is not mentioned corners are held down, or if they didn't give anything regarding to distortion, then you can assume that this is simply supported, and you can go for this table. So I will tell you, this is for corners are held down, and if this is another table when the corners are not held down. Okay, this table you can use when your corners are not held down. When the corners are not held down, they have mentioned simply supported on four sides. Simply supported on four sides. That is means the corners are not held down. That is what is the meaning. So here it is very simpler. Ly by Lx is given. So this is Ly by Lx. This is the value of alpha x. Here it is the value of alpha y. So in our case now, in this problem, what we have got this value, we have got the value in between 1.3 and 1.4, but we have not used this table number 27. Why we have not used this table number 27? Because in our numerical they have mentioned that our corners are held down. If they mention that all the four sides are simply supported or the corners are not held down, then only you can use this table number 27. Otherwise you have to use the table number 20. Okay, so in the current problem also, now the problem which we are solving, if they might have not mentioned that the corners are held down, then we may use these coefficients alpha x and alpha y. Okay, so that is the difference between these two tables. Now we will again move to the our PowerPoint presentation. So we were, I think, on this point for the calculation of bending moment. So to calculate the bending moment, in shorter direction and longer direction, we will write here the formula, and it is bending moment along the longer span, along the shorter span. So the bending moment along the shorter span, so this is mx. This is nothing but mx, bending moment along the shorter span. It is alpha x WLx square. Put the value here. The value of alpha x is calculated from that table, 0.08 from the interpolation, and this is the value of alpha y. I have already told you in the table. Same value is taken over here. So if you put this value of alpha x, that is 0.08 into load you have already calculated 12.18, and multiplied this by Lx. Lx is your shorter span. So you will get the value of bending moment. Similarly, bending moment along longer span, alpha y WLx square. Again put the values. Okay, you will get the bending moment. 14.74 is the bending moment along longer direction, and along shorter direction the bending moment is 21.06. So this is the value of mx, and 14.78 is the value of my. So going to the next slide. After the calculation of bending moment, as we know that whenever we calculate the bending moment, we need to take the check for depth. So to take the check for depth, what we always do, we always equate the maximum bending moment, whatever the maximum bending moment we are having, it is equal to moment of resistance. So our maximum bending moment is 21 point, that value which is written over here. So now which is equal to moment of resistance. So our maximum bending moment is 21.068, and moment of resistance we should take here, it is 21.068 into 10 raised to 6. This is your maximum bending moment, which is equal to moment of resistance. The moment of resistance, so the moment of resistance will be Fe415 is there. Okay, Fe415 grade of steel is there. For Fe415, what is the coefficient? It is 0.138 FCK BD square, and from this you can calculate what is the required depth for this bending moment to resist. What is the required depth? And that required depth is works out to be 87.36 mm. That is calculated over here. 86 point. The D required is 87.36 mm, which is calculated over here. So this depth is less than the provided, and what we have provided? We have provided 146 in x direction, 140, and in y direction 137 or something. So now after the check for depth, once the check for depth is satisfied, then here you can write safe, hence it is safe. Okay, hence the structure is safe as the depth. So then steel along shorter span, next step, steel along shorter span. So to calculate the steel along shorter span, the notation is ASTX, area of steel in x direction. So the area of steel in x direction, what is there for area of steel in x direction? It is 0.5 FCK BD upon Fy. This is the formula in bracket 1 minus under root 1 minus 4.6 mu upon FCK BD square. Here mu is nothing but this, mu is nothing but the moment in x direction, this value. This is your value of mu. So just put the values. If you put here all the values, you will get area of steel in x direction as 425.61 mm square. This is the area of steel in x direction. Okay, so now from that calculate the number of bars. How to calculate the number of bars? So number of bars is equal to total area of steel. Okay, it is total area of steel divided by what it is, area of 1 bar. Okay, divided by area of 1 bar. So total area of steel, so total area of steel is 425.61 divided by area of single bar. This is the area of single bar, so which is equal to 8.46. so round this value 9. So we got 9 number of bars. Okay, so AST provided, so the provided value is 452. So the provided value is this much. How to calculate the AST provided? It is 9 into pi by 4 into 8 square. So in this way it is calculated. Now after the ASTX provided, we are going to calculate the spacing. Okay, what is the spacing of the bars? So to calculate the spacing, first we will calculate by our 3 formulas which I have already told you. It is given on page number 46, clause number 26.3.3. Okay, so the spacing is equal to what? Area of single bar divided by what is the area which we have provided, area of steel provided, multiplied by, here 1000 is there, but it is always multiplied by width. In our case the width is 1000, that is 1 meter. That is why we have multiplied this by 1000. Okay, so your answer is 110 mm per second. Then again spacing is equal to 3D. So 3 into 146. Why we have taken here 146? Because we are thinking about only in shorter direction. We are doing all the calculations for shorter direction. So 3 into 146, it is 438. Then again spacing is 300 mm. In no case the spacing will be 300 mm. So what will be list of the following? So the least value you should take. The least value you should take. So what is the least value? It is 110 mm, center to center. This is the least value. So here you can write provide 9 bars of 8 mm diameter about 100 mm center to center. Sorry, 110 mm center to center. Okay. So after this you can calculate the percentage of steel. So this is the percentage of steel. This formula I have already told you yesterday also, in the last lecture also. So the percentage of steel is equal to 100 AST upon BD. This is the percentage of steel. It is 100 AST upon BD. So just put the values. 100 into your AST provided is, I will show you here by putting the values. Okay, so which is equal to here, what is a 100 as it is multiplied by AST. So what was the value of AST? It is 452.38 and divided by BD. What is the value of B? B is 1000. Okay, and D is the effective depth, it is 146. So if you do this calculation, check this calculation whether you are getting the same answer or not. That is, whatever given over here, that answer should match. Hmm? So the answer is 0.30. Okay, so if you do this calculation, you will get the same answer. This is 0.3%. 0.3%. Okay, so in this way you need to calculate the percentage of steel. Okay, so now here the percentage of steel is works out to be how much? It is 0.3%. Here at the bottom we have calculated the percentage of steel. The percentage of steel is 0.3%. Percentage of steel is 0.3%. Now after that, the next step is percentage of steel assumed is greater than or equal to percentage of steel provided. Okay, so here what is our assumed percentage of steel? Assumed percentage of steel is 0.3. What percentage of steel we have provided? We have provided also 0.3 percentage of steel. So now at assumed percentage of steel is 0.3, provided percentage of steel is 0.3. So the PT assumed percentage of steel is greater than or equal to, or these two values are equal now. So serviceability, that is the deflection check condition, is satisfied. There is no need to calculate the check for deflection. So that is what I have already told you. When your percentage of steel assumed is greater than your percentage of steel provided, then don't take the check for deflection. There is no need to check it for deflection. It is always safe. There is no need to check for the deflection. But the percentage steel assumed is less than your percentage of steel provided, okay, then in this case you must take the check for deflection. In this case you should take the check for deflection. Okay, so and if these two values are equal, then there is also no need to check for deflection, and that is what is there in our case. So if these values are equal, then there is no need to check the deflection. Okay, so here if you see, as our percentage PT assumed is equal to percentage of steel provided, so the serviceability criteria, that is check for deflection, is satisfied. So after that, steel along the longer direction, steel along shorter direction आपण काढून टाकलं झालं आता आपलं कॅल्क्युलेट करून. we have seen what is the area of the steel in shorter direction, near about to 4 to 5 something. Now around longer span. So next, along longer direction we want to calculate the steel. So again we have written the formula, ASTY is equal to, this is the formula to calculate the steel. Okay, so here you put mu is nothing but the value of mu is moment in y direction, my, what we have calculated. Okay, so mu means my. So the value of my here, all the other values are constant, like the values which we have used in calculation of ASTX. So all the other values are same except this depth also. So the depth in y direction is 138, as we have already seen. Depth in x direction was 146. Depth in y direction was 148, because in the y direction here is the x direction bar. असा x चा बार येत आहे, हा समजा x डायरेक्शन चा बार आहे 8 mm डायमीटरचा. हा जो तुमचा आहे तो x डायरेक्शन आणि त्याच्यावरती तुमचा हा y डायरेक्शनचा बार असा येणार आहे, y डायरेक्शनचा बार. ओके, आणि तुमचं ह्याचं सेंटर पासून ते टॉप पर्यंतचं जे डिस्टन्स असणार आहे, जे टॉप पर्यंतचे डिस्टन्स असणार आहे हे म्हणजे तुमचे डी असणार आहे. ओके, आणि इथून टॉप पासून ते पूर्ण खालीपर्यंत कॅपिटल डी म्हणजे काय असणार आहे, टॉप पासून ते पूर्ण इथं खालीपर्यंत बॉटम पर्यंत बीमच्या, हे समजा बॉटम आहे, सपोज दिस इज बॉटम. ओके, सो अप टू द बॉटम इथपर्यंत डिस्टन्स म्हणजे कॅपिटल डी असणार आहे. and the in between the middle distance, this is your clear cover, this is we have assumed 15, and this is your bar diameter which is from x direction bar 8 mm, and this from center this distance, this is 4 mm 8 by 2, and this total is again it. So that is why we got this depth as a 138. If you remember the previous calculation, from 165 the total depth, we minus this 15, then we minus this 8, and then we minus 4, that is 8 by 2, then we get this value d as a 138 in y direction. So that depth you must consider while calculating the steel in y direction. So after you putting all the values in the formula, you will get the value ASTY is equal to 310.65 mm square. This is the value of ASTY. Now calculate number of bars. Again, to calculate the number of bars, same formula is there, total area of steel. Okay, total area of steel divided by area of single bar. That is what is done over here. So it works out to be 6.18, around that to 7 bars. So AST provided. Now what we are going to provide? So the provided is 351.85, required is 310.65, and provided is 351, because 7 bars are there, each is having diameter 8 mm. So this is your provided value. This value is AST provided, and this value is AST required. Okay, so now spacing of the bars. Again, to calculate the spacing, see, in the two-way slab, in the both the direction main steels are provided. Okay, in both the direction main steel is provided. In x direction main steel is there, in y direction also main steel is there. This I have clarified you in the first lecture of one-way and two-way slab. Okay, so here also main steel is there. This is also the main steel which is in y direction, just the direction is changed, y direction. So the clauses of spacing you should use for the clauses which you are using for steel. Okay, for distribution steel, here instead of 3D we use 5D. For distribution steel, instead of 300 we use here 450. But as this is not a distribution steel, this is the steel in y direction, this is also the main steel. So the spacing is equal to what? Area of one bar divided by total area of steel multiplied by 1000. 1000 is nothing but, I am always telling you this thing because I know where the mistakes are made. 1000 is nothing but width. Here we have assumed 1 meter, that is why multiplied it by 1000. Okay, so our width is 1000 in this case, that is why we have taken 1000. 1000 is not the constant value. You should not always multiply this by 1000. You always multiply by the width. So now The spacing works out to be 142.85 mm. So round this spacing, so you get the value 140 mm center to center. While round upping the spacing, you should decrease the value. As you decrease the value, the number of bars are increased. Okay, so now after this, spacing is 3D. Okay, the spacing is 3D, that is 3 into 138. 138 is the depth in y direction. The spacing is 414. This is another value, center to center. And last spacing is how much? It is 300. So list of all these values you should take into the consideration for the further. So least value, you should take the least of all. So least value is how much? It is 140 mm. 140 mm center to center is the least value. So here you can write provide I think 8 number of bars, correct? Whatever may be the number of bars, here I have written 7 number of bars. Provide 7 bars of 8 mm diameter about 140 mm center to center. That's it. Okay, it is for per meter width for 1 meter. Okay, till now we have calculated the steel in x direction and also the steel in y direction. Okay, what we have calculated? We have calculated the steel in which steel in x direction we have calculated, and we have provided the bars. Also steel in y direction is also calculated, and we have provided the bars, that is the reinforcement. So now after this, we need to provide the steel at corners. Why to provide the steel at corners? Because as the corners are held down, and this steel is provided to resist the torsion, to resist the torsional effect. Okay, this steel is provided to resist the twisting moment or torsional effect. Now how to provide this steel, I will tell you. So here now the minimum reinforcement, so where it is provided, I will first that I will tell you. So now suppose this is our plan. Okay, I am this in a plan. This is plan. Okay, suppose now this length, this is our 4-meter panel, and this is our 6-meter panel. Okay, so it is provided at the corners. So if I show you in the corners, it will be like this. If I show you this in the corner, so in this way the reinforcement is provided in the corner. This area is chosen, corner area. Yeah. And this is provided for the length of this reinforcement will be, this length is sorry this length is Lx by 5 from this point to this point, and from here to, so the length is same. This length is Lx by 5 for all the blocks. The length is 5, or whatever your Lx, divide that Lx by 5, that should be the length of this block. Okay, and these are, and here extra bars are laid down, which are like this, parallel to x and parallel to y. In this way the extra bars are laid down in all these three. Extra steel is provided over here. Okay, like this. इथं पण असं असणार आहे same. Extra steel is provided over here at these all 4 corners. This is known as corners are held down, and this reinforcement is provided to resist the torsional effect or torsion. As this slab is not simply supported. Okay, so we have to consider the fixity, and due to which the torsional moment is developed, and to resist that moment this torsional steel is provided. So this steel is called torsional steel, and the area of this steel is nothing but 3/4 of ASTX. Okay. The area of this torsional reinforcement, what we need to provide, that area is 3/4 of the area of steel in x direction. So we will see that in the next figure. So before that, here the minimum distance of the reinforcement shall be provided for the square area of Lx by 5. हे कुठं दिलंय? पेज नंबर 90, annexure D 1.8. Okay, so we will go to page number 90, annexure D 1.8. Sorry, पुढचं पेज आलं का? I will stop when we will go to page number 19, the IS code. So here annexure D. So in the D, what they have mentioned in D 1.8. So see over here in D 1.8. The torsion reinforcement shall be provided at any corner where the slab is simply supported on both side edges and meeting at the corners. It shall be consist of top and bottom reinforcement, each with the layer of bars parallel to the side of the slab, extending from the edge a minimum distance of 1/5 of the shorter span. Here, if I do this, 1/5 of the shorter span. Okay, so here they have mentioned 1/5 of the shorter span. Underline this. So what is the length of shorter span? Always take the length of shorter span as a lx, and they have told it is 1/5, so its length must be lx by 5. Here it is. Okay, now on the next line they have told about the what we can say, area of the reinforcement. The area of the reinforcement here in each of these four layers is 3/4 of the area required for the maximum midspan moment in the slab. Okay, so here they have given it as a 3/4. 3/4 means what? Quarter means 1/4, and 3/4 means 3/4. Okay, so here I can say this area of this torsional reinforcement A is equal to what? 3/4 of area in x direction. Why in x direction? Because that is the maximum midspan moment is there in x direction, maximum moment. That is why we need to consider the area in x direction. Here they have told us maximum midspan moment. So maximum midspan moment is in x. So it will be area for torsion is equal to 3/4 of AST x. Okay. So now with this we will move to the our slides. What to do it further? So now in the PowerPoint presentation, what we have done. So here I think it is on this page. Now AST, here I have used the notation AST dash for torsional reinforcement. Now AST is equal to 3/4 of ASTx. Okay, shorter span area of the steel, 3/4 into ASTx, shorter span area of the steel. So ASTx, we know the value of ASTx. The value of ASTx is 452.38. So it is 3/4 into 452.38. So here the value of ASTx is 339.29. This is the value of ASTx, 339.29 mm square. So the number of bars. So for this now we need to calculate number of bars, and the number of bars are works out to be 7. What is the bar diameter assumed? Here the bar diameter phi is taken as 8 mm. We have assumed 8 mm bar diameter dia of the bar. So from that we have calculated 7 number of bars. So AST dash provided, what it will be, 7 into pi by 4 into 8 square. So this is the AST AST provided. This is the value 351.85. So now after that the spacing is calculated. So here there is no clause spacing to use. Okay, आता इथं तुम्हाला क्लॉज वगैरे काय वापरता येणार नाही स्पेसिंग काढायला. मग स्पेसिंग कॅल्क्युलेट करायचं कसं? तर here this is the block. Now I am showing the block for this torsional reinforcement. This is the block. Okay. So the length, this total length what is the length from here to here? This total length is, this is always lx by 5. So what it is, lx by 5 म्हणजे किती येते? What is our lx? So lx is I think 4.65. What is lx? So if you go to the previous slide, so to go to previous slide because I don't even remember the value. What is the value of lx? We need to calculate. Lx. So lx by 5. What is the value of lx? Shorter span. Anybody can tell me the value of shorter span? Those are in the previous slide, so I have to go back again. What we have calculated? This is the value of lx here. 4.65 meter. Lx is equal to 4.65 meter. So that value we should consider over here while doing this calculation. So lx is equal to, what was the value of lx? It is 4.65. So this is 4.65. This is the 4.65. I have written here 64. So 4.65. This total value is 4.65. This is also 4.65. म्हणजे मी जर ह्याला mm मध्ये घेतलं, समजा मी जर mm मध्ये घेतलं तर काय होईल? इफ आय कन्सिडर दिस इन mm, then what it will be? So it is now 4650. This is 4650 and this is also 4650 if you consider this in mm. Now we want to enter the number of bars. Okay, so number of bars is 7 number of bars. In how much area? In 1 meter width. Okay, in 1 by 1 the 7 number of bars is there. Now we want to calculate this spacing, this 140. How does that value come? 140. Now if I place the bar over here, so if I place the bars, this may be the placement of bar. In this way we are going to provide the bars. So our bars are along which direction? So along, our spacing must be along this 4650. Okay, so 4650. How many number of bars we are going to provide here? So divide that 4650 divided by into what it is for 1 meter now. So see here, 4650 is the vertical length. Okay, now how many bars, number of bars we have calculated? 7 number of bars, but this 7 number of bars is for per meter. Per meter means we assume the width as a 1 meter, but what is our total width? Now the total width is 4650. Total width is 5650. So total number of bars, how many number of bars are there? Total number of bars, how much? Okay, 1 meter, how many bars? 7 bars. For then 4.65 meter, how many bars will be there? Multiply this by 4.65. These are the number of bars, correct? Along this total width, across this total width. So we know the number of bars and we want the spacing, distance between each bar. So we can calculate here. The spacing is equal to, so the spacing is equal to, what is the total width across? We want to calculate the spacing. This is the total width. So it is 4650 divided by number of bars. How many number of bars are there? So 7 into 4, 7 into it is 7 into 4.65. So if you do this calculation on the calculator, the value comes out to be 142.85. It comes out to be 142.80 mm. And if you round up this, then the value will be 140 mm center to center. So this is the value. So this is the spacing. Okay. So in this way you can calculate the spacing over here, because for this type of spacing there is no
clause in the IS code specified to calculate the spacing in this way. The way we have calculated the spacing up till now for steel in x direction, steel in y direction, those are the main steels, or the spacing clause are given for the main steel as well as for distribution steel. For torsional steel there is no spacing clause, so we have to calculate the spacing in this manner. Have you understood what I have done over here? We have already calculated number of bars. How many number of bars are there? 7. But these 7 number of bars are for 1 meter width. Okay, we have initially assumed what is our width. Our width is 1 meter. So for 1 meter 7 bars are, for 1 meter 7 bars are required. Now here it is not 1 meter. It is how many meter it is? It is there 4.65 meter, this total 4.65. So I can write simple mathematics. For 4.65 meter it is how much? Okay, so it will be like this. So this value is x, so I need to multiply this 4.64 by 7, so I will get the number of bars. So from that this value we will get the total number of bars. ओके, मग मला आता टोटल लेंथ माहिती आहे, मला 2 बार मधलं अंतर काढायचं आहे. आय वॉन्ट टू कॅल्क्युलेट द स्पेसिंग बिटवीन 2 बार्स, बट व्हॉट आय नो द टोटल लेंथ. This is the total length. Okay, and I know the number of bars, so I can easily calculate what is the spacing between the 2 bars. समझते का? Okay, so in this way we have calculated the spacing between the 2 bars, and that spacing is 140 mm. So now after this we move further. So after the calculation of the spacing, now we will write here, provide 8 mm diameter bars about 140 mm center to center. There is no any other criteria to calculate the spacing, so this is your final spacing whatever you have calculated. So it is 140 mm center to center at each corner for the length of 930 mm. Okay, so from where that 930 value comes, value comes, what here they said, provide 8 mm diameter bars about 140 mm center to center at each corner for a length of 930 mm. Okay, this is the 930 mm length. From where this length came? Now talking about this, what we can say. So suppose now this is the slab. So now in this slab we are having 4 corners. This is our first corner, this is our second corner, here it is our third corner, and somewhere here it is the fourth corner. Now up to from these all 4 corners, okay, so I will name this. This is first, this is second, this is third, this is fourth. The corners are held up. Now if I consider any one of the corner, so I will use blue. Instead, so suppose if I consider this corner now over here, this is our corner number 1. So now what is the length? This length is 930 mm. This length is 930 mm, and this length also it is 930 mm. How do it is calculate? How do we calculate the length? So to calculate the length, we know that it is Lx by 5. So Lx by 5, Lx is 4.65 no, so 4650 mm divided by how much? 5. If you do this, you will get the value as a 930 mm. Okay, and from this also you can calculate the spacing. How do it is calculate? How do we calculate the length? So to calculate the length, we know that it is Lx by 5. So Lx by 5, Lx is 4.65 no, so 4650 mm divided by how much? 5. If you do this, you will get the value as a 930 mm. Okay, and from this also you can calculate the spacing. Okay, so So now it is 930 mm for this length, and the bars will be laid down in this way. So the bars will be laid down from in this fashion. This is the reinforcement. This is the bar in this direction, and same those are provided. Same those will be provided in this direction also. This is your torsional reinforcement. Okay, this is your torsional reinforcement. So this length 930. I hope it is clear to you. This is the 930 length is there. So now after all this calculation, now we will move forward to the shear force calculation. So now the shear force. So shear force is equal to Vu is equal to WLX by 2. We always know that simply supported, we assume that the supports are provided, but we assume partial. Still we calculate the maximum shear, and it is taken as WLX by 2. So you know the value of W. This is WLX. This is your LX, shorter span. So 12.18 into 4.65 by 2. So you get this value as a 28.31. Okay. Now as we know this Vu, we will calculate the nominal shear, that is tau V is equal to, what is the formula? It is Vu upon BD. This is the formula. So this is formula Vu upon BD. So we have right here 28.31 into 10 raised to 3 divided by B is 1000 into D it is 146. Okay, we are calculating it in X direction. Check for shear, maximum shear. So 146. So we got this value as a 0.19 Newton per mm square. Now the percentage of steel at support. The percentage of steel at support is equal to percentage of steel at divided by 2. We assume that half of the steel is provided at the support, half of the steel it is provided at the support. That is what we have assumed. So it will be a percentage of steel is equal to 0.3 divided by 2, that is 0.15. So and then permissible shear strength of concrete, tau C dash. This value tau C dash is calculated from table number 19, page number 73. We have so many times we have seen this value for this 0.15 percentage. Okay, percentage of steel, here it is 0.15. So go to the table number 19, page number 73. Next we go to the table number 19, or instead of that page number 73. So table number 19 and page number 70. We have to move little fast. Okay, page number 73 is, that is the table which shows the permissible shear stress. Okay, and we have to multiply that shear stress by again K. That many times we have gone through that table. So here on this in this table here, what is your percentage of steel? It is 0.15. So it is 0.15 here. Grade of concrete, it is M20. So the value is 0.28. This value you have to consider, because directly you are getting for 0. No, there is no need to do the interpolation. 0.15, 0.28. So this value is you are getting it directly, and now after that, once you get this value 28, you have to multiply this value by how much? Here you should, if the depth is less than 150, then it is 1.3. But in our case, what is the depth? Overall depth, it is more than 150 to 175. So it is in between 150 to 175. So we need to calculate the value of K. Okay. So here if you see in the slide, it is 0.28. This value is taken. Now permissible shear stress is calculated. So this permissible shear stress and all other calculations we will see in the next lecture. Okay, now we have finished up to this point. Okay, we have finished up to this point. That is our shear strength of concrete. Tau c dash is calculated over here. Tau c dash. Then from this we need to calculate the tau c. To calculate tau c, that is allowable shear stress, the formula is K into tau c dash. Okay, so again go through this lecture today. So I will try to upload this lecture today only for your reference, but if it is not get uploaded, still you do the study. I have uploaded the previous lecture. Get clear with your concepts and then see this lecture, what is how to calculate and all these things. Okay, and if you are having any difficulty, you can call me. So with this note, today we will end our session here. So next session will start at 1 p.m. Limker sir is going to take the next session. Okay. So thank you all.